ว้ด้วยคำว่ารักและคำสัญญาของเราหัวใจเดียวกัน
กลับมาพบกันต่อในช่วงที่ 2 ของรายการ Lifestyle by Yamaha นะคะ เป็นที่ทราบกันดีค่ะ กับตำนานของ Yamaha R-Series ซึ่งเป็นรถสายพันธุ์สปอร์ตที่มี DNA จากสนามแข่ง แฟนๆมอเตอร์สปอร์ตจะรู้จักกันดี และได้ถ่ายทอด DNA จากสนามแข่งลงมาสู่รถของตระกูล R-Series แม่มีประวัติอันยาวนานเชียวละค่ะกับรถในตระกูลของ Yamaha R-Series ที่ได้รับการตอบรับจากแฟนๆชาวไทยบอกได้เลยว่ายอดขายไม่เคยตกคุณผู้ชมอยากรู้ประวัติอันยาวนานของ Yamaha R-Series รถในตระกูลมอเตอร์สปอร์ตที่สามารถถ่ายทอด DNA จากสนามแข่งเราจะไปดูการพัฒนาของรถมอเตอร์ไซค์สปอร์ตในซีรีส์นี้กันบอกได้เลยว่าเป็นรถสปอร์ตที่สุดแรงเครื่องยนต์ทรงพลังเทคโนโลยีสุดล้ำรวมถึงดีไซน์อันโฉบเฉี่ยวเขามีที่มาที่ไปของแรงบันดาลใจจากสนามแข่งที่หลอมรวมอยู่ในทุกรุ่นของกลุ่ม Yamaha R-Series และมีต้นกำเนิดและมีความเป็นมาอย่างไรกว่าจะมาเป็น R-Series อย่างทุกวันนี้ที่มี R DNA ยังคงไหลเวียนอยู่ในทุกอนูของรถจักรยานยนต์ Yamaha R-Series ทุกโมเดลอยากไปชมประวัติอันยาวนานกันแล้วใช่ไหมคะคุณผู้ชมเพื่อเป็นการไม่เสียเวลาไปกันเลยค่ะ
In the late 80s to early 90s, supersport motorcycles were hefty machines with powerful over 1000cc engines mounted in sizable frames and bodywork, and the competition was over big bike presence and the highest top speed. At the time, a Yamaha development team was working on the company's next supersport model. They decided to shift away from the trajectory set by the YZF 1000R Thunder Race and instead emphasize lightweight, slimness and compactness. After all, these elements had been an unwavering principle at Yamaha ever since its founding in 1955.
We decided to depart from following what had been established by previous FZR and YZF models for this next supersport bike. The project leader was an engineer who had previously worked on developing the two-stroke TZR 250R. Compared to a two-stroke engine, a four-stroke is longer and offers less freedom for chassis design. So in developing the engine, we devised a vertically stacked gearbox that placed the crankshaft, mainshaft and driveshaft in a triangular arrangement to make the unit shorter.
The design work began by rethinking the values set by supersport bikes of the time, namely ample space and size.
Riding excitement was the value the first YZF R1 brought to motorcycling, and this has evolved with each major model update, from 2004 and 2009 to 2015 and 2020. In the process, the bike's convention braking engine saw incredible advances as well, with everything dedicated to always offering riders an exciting super sports experience unlike any before.
With the 2004 model, we upped output by 20 horsepower to raise its overall speed range and developed an all-new chassis to match to create a winning machine for the Isle of Man.
2004年の特徴ってやっぱりリアのアップマフラー
While the underseat pipes on the 2004 model did help bring the bike's center of gravity closer to the middle, all of us on the team, including the engineers, simply thought they looked cool.
もうそこではもうやらない理由はない。With the 2009 R1, there was no reason not to bring over the cross-plane engine design proven in MotoGP. So that's exactly what we did.
よくわからない何かすげえエンジンを
Let's say somebody hears the cross-plane engine and says, I don't know what that bike is, but it's got an amazing engine. How did we go about expressing that idea with the bike's form? by hiding the engine itself.
スーパースポーツのリッタークラスのスーパ
For
ー
the
スポーツ
2015 R1, the focus shifted to the main battleground of super sport bikes, the circuit, and the design concept for it was the Speed Racer.
開発中に MotoGP のチームとかと交流を
The testing team consulted with the MotoGP team and some of our top factory riders as development progressed.
ダブル優勝でしたね最初2015年
In the bike's 2015 debut year, we took the win at the Suzuka 8 Hours in both the EWC and Superstock classes.
デザイナーのマインドが変わった
The mindsets of our designers changed, and the YZR-M1 was incredibly influential on our work, something we had never done before.
Envisioning the ideal is what brings new change to the R-Series DNA. The YZF R6 was originally created in near rivalry with the first YZF R1.
その DNA を継ぐものっていうことでより安
The R6 was developed to inherit the R1's DNA, but also to provide a sharper, wilder kind of ride. For every R-Series bike, whether it's in this displacement class or for that market, the engineering teams always build excitement into each. Having R DNA doesn't necessarily mean adhering to rules.
走る曲がる止まるっていう性能をやっぱ一番引き出す
Our DNA is about seeking to make the ride, cornering and braking as fun and as exciting as we can for riders.
じゃあ RDNA って何っていうのは
With design, our DNA is something understood more implicitly than explained or defined with words. The only clear-cut characteristic of our DNA is having twin-eye headlights or position lights. There's very little that is passed on as is in terms of proportions or forms. For example, we don't ensure the tank shape is the same for every R-Series model.
The smaller entries in the R-Series, from the R125 to the R3, were all updated to more closely resemble the flagship YZF R1. At the same time, a new addition to the family came with the R7, and this bike illustrates the strong links between models in the series.
どういうふうに大きく見せるかっていったところがちょっと
To give the R15 a big bike look and feel, we purposefully decided to place the position lights lower and on the edges of the front face.
要所要所で確認を設ける確認
In
の
developing the key aspects of each bike, we set up meetings to consult with the test riders behind the R1 and include their input while fine-tuning the ride.
で特に R6 R1 が先鋭化するのはいいんですけ
The
ど
R1 and R6 were incredibly purpose-built for the track, so the R7 was created as a super sport that just about anyone could experience that R-Series excitement with.
黒いコースがサーキットみたいなコースになってます
Fukuroi Test Course has the layout of a racetrack, so the goal while polishing the R7 was to make riding each lap as fun as possible.
キーワードをスキニープロポーションっていうキーワード
Skinny proportions for perfect control was the design concept for the R7, and since it's a parallel twin, we tried to make it a really tight and compact package.
たとえ空を飛んでもそれがエキサイト
One of the engineers on the project team once said, "Even if it flies in the air, I'd call it an R1 if it provides the same excitement." Even if we're to use electric motors, we will still deliver that R-Series feel and flavour and ensure they have the same excellent performance when riding, cornering and braking.
While their engine types and sizes vary greatly, every machine in the R-Series is unquestionably part of one family. While the physical methods used for creating and delivering the series' signature excitement may evolve, the R DNA that flows throughout the entire range will remain. And as long as people continue to ride vehicles, Yamaha will keep the R-Series and its legacy alive.